Peace. Welcome to Spears and Mikes. I'm L1, and my brother Just P is in the building. Peace, King. This is a podcast where we talk about hip hop culture, of course. We drop some knowledge here and there, and we also talk about the streets. And we got a lot of Zulu Nation, Zulu Union stories and whatnot. But today we're here to talk about Power of the Wu-Tang Clan, one of the co-founders and one of the originators of Wu-Tang Clan. Just recently passed 2 nights ago. My condolences to the whole Wu Tang Clan. My condolences to Killer Sin, all his loved ones, family, the whole Wu Tang Clan, all the Wu Killer Bees and the affiliates. Man, what do you think about that, Just P?
I mean, definitely rest in peace to the brother. My condolences to the family and friends and the fans at that. I mean, seeing the love that he had, not so much after the fact, but in kind of result of, is just amazing and reminds me of just how much he contributed to the game, let alone Wu Tang Clan. Um, he was definitely quiet for the past couple of years, but I mean, just going through life be life in. But his legacy was amazing. His foundation and what he was about was amazing. A lot of the people that I talked to and deal with these past couple of days have been, definitely saddened. Shouts to his family, condolences to his family again. Killer Sin, super talented and super um not so much tragic, but a loss for the game for his situation. But it was just a loss for humanity, not so much hip hop. Because I mean, that was another brother gone early. He was like 52, right? Early 50s.
Yeah, 52 years old.
He
Too
was still,
young.
yeah. He was still making moves, still sharing knowledge. So it was definitely a loss for the world, period, and the hip hop community.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. For those that may not know, he is the older brother of Killer Sin, who was a part of Killer Army, who was one of my favorites out of Killer Army, and then also probably one of the top 3 to 5 Wu Tang affiliates, if you may. Like I would hold Killer Sin up there with like Killer Priest. You know what I'm saying? Killer Sin, one of my, I think one of the nicest, hands down,
Angel and them,
worthy of being official Wu Tang Clan. Like could have easily, if they was gonna expand, could have been 9, 10, whatever.
right.
However you want to call it. Um, but Divine, right? Like Divine brought kind of like him and Power's relationship, I guess, um, emerged, and he's ultimately like kind of like a co-founder of Wu-Tang to a degree, one that's
Yeah,
been there from the beginning. And also like, the founder of Wu Wear, you know what I'm saying? And the ill thing about Wu Wear is, if I recall correctly, it was inside the Raekwon pamphlet for Only Built for Cuban Links, aka the purple tape. So like that was the first time you could like order anything. And from what I heard was Power was going around like Greek Fest out in Jones Beach out in Long Island selling the Wu Tang Wu wear. You know what I'm saying? Because people was buying, especially when the ice cream video came out, and you seen the shorties had the butter pecan reekin, and like yo,
yeah,
like it was a big buzz behind that. Like, I mean, even from the Enter the 36 Chambers, right? Just seeing the mystery of chess boxing when everybody had the hoodie on, like right, everybody wanted that. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
I was seeing that around, like whether it was authorized or unauthorized. I used to see people walk around with that wool hoodie before wool wear came out. I don't know who was making them, but just like the one that they had with the mystery of chess boxing with the logo right here, gray hoodie. I mean, those was like champion hoodies. Everybody had one, or a lot of people had it. You know what I'm saying? So peace to Power, rest in peace to Power, honor to his family. Like he really had a great idea, like to capitalize the brand and push it further with woolwear. You know what I'm saying? Because like I think that's an important part of like building a brand is to having paraphernalia, merchandise. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So that people could like, you know, basically show their support. You got a walk-in billboard around, you know what I'm saying, everybody that had woolwear. And when I was a kid, my cousin and my uncle had lived out in Staten Island, And I actually went to the store on Victory Boulevard, and if I recall correctly, I think I had saw Ugard and Raekwon there at the time.
Mm,
I don't know why when I was young, I thought I was going to see them all in there working, like like it was McDonald's or something. You know what I'm saying? And a kid, when you a kid, you go to McDonald's thinking you're going to see Ronald McDonald. When I went to the Woolwear store, I was certain that I was going to see RZA, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like. Um,
that's
but
a,
the ill thing about it is that Woolwear, I believe they sold like 5 million the first year. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty incredible.
I think they had they run with the rise of Wu Tang, and for a little while, and I think they sold it for a few years, not too long ago. It was owned by like a European company, and it was something like you could only get through like
Macy's, I think, because I bought it in Macy's a couple years ago.
yeah, like international or something like that. But recently, I believe, or I presume, Power had reacquired it and was bringing it back out because that's when I started
Mhm.
seeing Power being behind it, posted. I started seeing certain brothers and certain artists are wearing it again or endorsing it again. So from what I
Mhm.
understand, he brought it back to the forefront not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no lie. I think it was 2018. I think I copped a Woolwear joint,
mm,
like a long sleeve Woolwear shirt. I don't know if it was official Wu Tang merchandise that had the logos and everything on inside. I bought it at Macy's. They had a whole little rack of different Woolwear flavors. You know what I'm saying? When I had saw it, that was probably like the first time. Um, I had saw Woolwear like in a commercial store in a long time. So,
oh, yeah,
seeing that, I was like, yo, it was like 29.99. I was like, yo, let me get that. I remember going out to the Zulu Summit out in Seattle with one of them on. Had the
mm,
black joint and it said Woolwear on it. Just for nostalgia purposes
yeah.
alone, you know what I mean? And of course I'm a Wu Tang head, so I'm always gonna support, the clan. Um but beyond Woolwear and that success, which if we really want to look at it, right, Woolwear, before we get off Woolwear, we have to acknowledge the fact that it kind of opened the door for a lot of other hip hop brands to emerge. This is like the precursor before Rockefeller, Rockaware, should I say, before I would say Fat Farm too, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it came around the same time as maybe Fubu or just shortly after. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
So, what do you recall?
I think Fat Joe came right after with the 560.
FJ 560, right? Yeah.
Naughty by Nature, I can't
That was
remember.
an early one.
Yeah, Naughty by Nature was like right around the same time. Like
Yeah,
I forgot their name.
right. And really before, because like from Hip Hop Hooray, they kind of had that
Yeah, yeah,
merchandise, you know what I mean, with the bat and all of that.
mhm,
Yeah, so they were early in the game too. That's a good call out.
yeah, yeah.
They were definitely about brand. eh, Excuse me, and the OPP shirts. That was even before,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Those are
you
like
know what I mean? Like
three kinds.
people was wearing those things too.
Yeah,
Other people's property, other people's, I ain't gonna say it, you know what I'm saying?
and that was all due to
But yeah, that's an early one. That's an early one.
yeah,
But look at Woolwear proved to be a success, and then I'm sure it opened doors for Jay-Z and Dame Dash and Biggs to launch Rockaware, man. I mean, even Machiavelli had a brand of clothes that I used to see. You know what I'm saying? So, there's a lot of brands. Of course, uh Sean John was successful as well. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be real with you. I kind of miss those brands.
yeah.
Um, cause like like not for nothing, they had a lot of buzz and a lot of people wanted them, and they were affordable too. It wasn't nothing was really ever like mad expensive, like out of your pocket price range. You know what I mean? Like, how like I know you. Of course, you love low, and I've been love low myself for many years. Been wearing low,
Thank you.
probably almost 30 years. Tell you the truth. Um, but like you could go spend 250, 300, or you easily on just something like this, $200 basic hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Easy. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I always thought back in the day it was dope that you could kind of get fresh on a low budget. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Which was dope.
that's
You
where I
know?
come from, you know. But
Right,
Definitely.
humble beginnings. We all come from humble beginnings, you know what I'm saying? With the, with the cheaper flavors that you could freak, you know what I'm saying, wear, look good in, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But Wu Wear was official, man. I thought it was dope.
I had some Wu wear. Also, Power was Nation of Gods and Earth, and he was still like heavily involved and active with the Nation of Gods and Earth. You know what I mean? So respect to
That's
them.
what's up.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 definitely. Peace to the brothers from the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths. Um, you know, listen, at the end of the day, right? Like as I beyond Wu Wear, right? I'll always remember Power for his role in Black and White, his role in Belly. You know what I'm saying? He has some acting credits.
Uh,
Particularly Black and White was a really slept on movie.
yeah,
Right? I had that on DVD, no lie. And I remember seeing Power and I'm like, yo, he had like the energy where he kind of looks like a rapper, you know what I'm saying? He had the talk of a rapper, the look of a rapper. And I'm like, yo, I wonder if dude rap like that. You know, I knew he was behind Wu Wear at the time or whatever, but like I'm like, yo, this dude gotta rap. You know what I'm saying? All of them rap. You know, everybody in Wu-Tang rap. I used to think Divine probably rap too, RZA's brother, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, all of these dudes is talented. They all could rap. But you know,
yeah, definitely was.
you remember seeing him in Belly in Black and White?
I remember Black and White. I think I might have seen. I definitely seen it, and I remember him. He kind of stood out. Him and Mike Tyson and Robert Downey.
Yeah,
But
you can't forget the Mike Tyson and Robert Downey scene.
yeah,
He
yeah.
slapped fire out of Robert Downey.
He like the wasn't he like the fake weed dealer or something with the little white girls or something? And he was kind
I
of the
don't know why he was in that apartment with them. I don't know what brought Robert Downey there. I don't remember his role.
no, he just might
You
have
know what I'm
been.
saying?
But Power was like, what Power had like a starring role kind of in that movie, from what I
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
yeah. He had quite a few lines. He was throughout the movie.
But
You know
in
what I'm
Belly,
saying?
he was knowledge. He was knowledge born. In Belly,
Right.
he was up. That was a
Right.
good.
Kind of an iconic figure in that
Yeah,
movie for
yeah,
sure.
that was classic.
Yeah.
That was a hood classic, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Belly's a hood classic, and I think low key Black and White don't get its respect. It was a dope movie too, and yo, no lie, like Robert Downey, like I feel like that kind of revived him. His career was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a little bit in shambles, and all of a sudden he popped out in that,
And that.
and then then he just like came back. You know what I'm saying? He was in a lot of joints. You know what I mean? From the joint where he was like, where he played a brother. Yeah, it would go, it wouldn't be sounding that, but that was a classic too in a way.
Oh yeah. And Power was.
Now people will freak out,
Oh yeah.
huh?
People. Robert Downey coming back in Doomsday, but
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Power was represented real well in the Wu Tang series. The dude that played him is a real good actor. Played him well,
Yeah,
and he was a.
yeah,
You
definitely.
know what I mean? So definitely check that
Wu Tang American Saga. Yeah, if you haven't, yo, thank you for reminding me. I've said it before on these episodes. I didn't finish it. I
out.
fell off like at the what is it? The third season is the last one, right? I saw a couple episodes, and I got to go back and finish it. But it was done really well. You know what I'm saying? I kind of liked all the actors. I thought everybody did a good job. I know a lot of people used to criticize the dude that played RZA, but I'm like, nah, that dude's a good actor, right? I think he's a good actor, in my opinion. You
He
know,
holds it down. He gets a little shaky in the later, like he gets a little shaky, but he still holds it down. You know what I mean?
people were bugging over that accent, like how he
Yeah,
sounded, but RZA talks with like an accent. Like
let's talk funny.
RZA be talking like Bruce Lee a little bit, like a black Bruce Lee almost. You know what I'm saying?
And they all were
So
involved in the capacity, especially Howard might have been around too, from what I know, but they all were involved in the show, and they did a real good job.
right,
That you know, real good job. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
didn't.
definitely,
They kind of pulled it together because you don't really see how they're gonna do everything in the third season, but they pull it together. You know what I mean?
right, right, right.
They ended after Wu Tang Forever, the album. They ended at that. You know what I mean?
Right. It could have easily continued,
Yeah,
you know, but I think that, Power should be respected for his contributions to hip hop, you know what I'm saying? He's
definitely.
a part of a great part of the success of what I would say most people would call Wu-Tang Clan as the greatest hip hop group of all time. Most are in agreement that they are the greatest. Um, and he's a big part of that success. You know what I mean? A brainchild, a brilliant brother that came from Park Hill, Staten Island, by way of Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? And to put your name, stamp that in, forever with the legacy and the founding of Wu-Tang Clan, you're cemented. And the sad thing is the very next day after he died, they nominated um Wu-Tang Clan for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for
Mm,
2026. So it kind of sucks that, one of the brothers that was there, a big reason for y'all success or a big time contributor to y'all success, and he didn't get that great news because he passed away.
yeah,
But,
yeah,
I'm sure he would have been pleased to hear that news. And it's just a feather in his cap, you know what I'm saying? That look at that, a group that he helped, become famous and put so much work in for that they're gonna be nominated into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's legendary, man. If
definitely.
we all was able to just do half of what that brother did, we'll be legends. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
we say with great respect, man, to the Grant family, the Wu Tang family, the Killer Bees, all the affiliates, all his loved ones, family members, people that he worked with, even like our Zulu brother Ross Ceylon, like he had a project I think where Power was going to executive produce one of his new projects, and I know the brothers, greatly saddened by that news. Just all the loved ones, man, that, power touched your life. Condolences to you all, man. Shout his name out, keep his memory alive. You know what I'm saying? We got to honor our hip hop legends for their contributions to the culture now and forever. You know what I mean?
word. Rest in
Word, man.
peace. Rest in power.
Yeah, definitely. So, salute to everybody that's been tuned in to Spears and Mics. Like the comment, liked it, hit a drop a comment or whatever if you can, and just support the channel as best as you can. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? So peace and love to all, man. Rest in peace, power, peace to the Wu-Tang Clan. Peace.
Peace.